Hey guys, welcome back to Misguided Intuition, where I can tell you better than I could tell me. We have made it to our Oracle only Sunday reading. Woohoo! There's that. Gosh, any updates? Not really. If things look a little different, I'm kind of moving stuff around and yeah, just trying to make. There's a lot going on in my on this end, like personally. So I'm gonna try not to let it overflow into the channel too much, but I had to rearrange some stuff and hopefully it works out for the better, you know? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So this will be for Sunday, August 20th, 2023, or whenever you come across it. Mercury goes retrograde in 3 days. So be prepared. Get yourself grounded and centered, and you know, don't what there's a million different warnings, right? There's a million different warnings about don't sign contracts, don't make big life decisions, don't do any traveling, don't do this, don't do that. So, but then there's also, you know, retrograde is good for regrouping, rethinking, replanning, reorganizing. So I guess take it how you will, whichever way works best for you. But either way, that's in 3 days. And that goes on until, I have it written down, that goes on until September 14th, and then the post shadow will go until like September 28th. Also, Venus is in retrograde, and that goes direct on September 4th. Things that I made note of, because I'm always telling the people in my life, like, get your stuff together and be ready. But they don't always do that. So, I think we're going to start with mine. So I found some previous messages that I had written, and I was actually using these little index cards I had cut in half. And so now that I have these, I put them on here and added them to this deck so that we have more. So we'll start with that, and then we'll build off of these. That's how we're gonna do it. I want to thank the handful of people that come back and watch my videos. This, according to YouTube analytics, seems like it's pretty much the same people. And I'm going to ask that if you are a repeat viewer, can you pretty please interact with the channel, like give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down or drop a comment and let me know, you know, what it is that brings you back. I want to be sure that I'm putting out, you know, the best and clearest messages that I can give here. You know, obviously there's however many people on the planet, not of that many people, how many people are going to end up on a YouTube channel. So if a message resonates, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not your message, right? But I'm just really curious to know how these messages are landing with whoever comes to my channel, basically. So let's see, what is our theme gonna be today here? What do we need to hear today? Please get the lesson. What lesson are we not getting? But okay, can we get more? Nothing changes if nothing changes. Stop the toxic cycle. One more, please. Can I get one more, please? Maybe. If not, we'll switch decks. It's getting kind of chunky here. It says, your gut won't lie, period. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. What did you dream about last night? That's an interesting one. This is at the top of the deck. Um, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. I know this is supposed to be Oracle. We're going to do this kind of like a tarot reading, but so top of the deck, bottom of the deck, center of the deck. We're going to start here. We're going to start with, what did you dream about last night? Because oftentimes your dreams might seem like an acid trip circus show. Like, I don't know how else to really put it. Oftentimes our dreams can be like, what the even heck was that? Like, how am I supposed to find the meaning in that? Your best bet with that is if you have a dream where it's pretty wild but vivid and you actually remember when you wake up, try to immediately write it down or put it in notes in your phone or text it to yourself or something. Because as you go throughout the day, the details tend to become less and less clear. So if you write it down and you go about your day and you come back to ponder on this, there might be something that sticks out like 6 hours later that you weren't picking up 5 minutes after you woke up. You know what I mean? So pay attention to your dreams, because a lot of times those could be messages regarding your circumstances, or it could just be your energies coming through, like any anxieties or fears or anything like that. Pay attention to the people in your dreams. Sometimes I have this thing like, if I dream about somebody and I haven't talked to them in a while, I will call them or text them and be like, hey, I know this sounds weird, but I had a dream about you, and so I figured I'd check in on you just to see how things are going. Sometimes there's a reason you're supposed to contact that person. But this is saying, get the lesson, nothing changes if nothing changes. Your gut won't lie. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. So I feel like perhaps some of y'all are in a literally toxic cycle with somebody, and you've been going over and over and over with the cycle. And, you know, I'm not even going to shame anybody for that, but sometimes we go over and over and over and we're like, oh, well, maybe if I try it this way, and maybe if I try it that way. And for certain things that'll work, like when you're trying to do a project, changing it up might work. When you're, you know, coming up with money-making ideas or rearranging your house or trying to find the most efficient way to set up your workspace, doing it over and over and over again might eventually bring you to a point of satisfaction. But that being said, if you are dealing with a person or a situation where the toxicity is constant, ever present, and no matter what changes you're making, the situation or person is not also changing. Like we've talked about this before on here, you know, like if you put ABC in, you're going to get that result. If you put BAC in, you're going to get that result. So now you went and you put like WXY in there and you're still getting the same result. The problem isn't you. The only problem that, well, okay, the problem is and is not you. Okay, so the problem is not you because you're making the effort to change things and do things differently. And what the heck was that? So you're making the effort to change things and do things differently and bring different things and different ideas and methods to the table. And, you know, the other person or whatever isn't budging. So that's where it's not you. But where it is, like where you are the problem, is that you're like, you have very dogged determination, and that's a fantastic quality to have, but you're putting all that determination and energy into the wrong area then, because you're not getting a lesson. If you have tried 25 different things and you're still getting the same result or response or reaction or behavior from this person or whatever you're dealing with, when they show you who they really are, believe them. Okay? You can only put on, like, a person can only put on a fake face for so long. So when they show you that, believe them. When your gut is telling you, like, yo, this isn't going to change, this is just going to be ongoing, like, no matter what I do, after they've shown you who they are, Believe it. Just because you can continue to change things over and over again to try to accommodate, appease, or improve them or the situation because of them, it does not mean you should. Believe what they're showing you and figure out what you're supposed to be learning from this. Everything is a lesson, remember? So figure out what you're supposed to be learning from this, get the lesson, and then walk your ass on. Like, there's no reason to stay at, at that point. You just keep pushing forward. That sounds really easy, right? I'm sorry. I do that a lot. It sounds simplistic and it sounds really easy, and I'm not trying to minimalize anything that anybody's going through, because I know we get in these situations. I am in one right now. So when we get in these situations, it's really, really hard to be like, well, what the hell is the next right step, right? The next right step is, before we pull another card, in my opinion, it is, well, if this person or situation wasn't even part of your picture right now, what would you do for you to get yourself into a better spot, right? What would your next right step be for yourself? Stop thinking of this as a whole and just start thinking about you for a minute here. And we've talked about this before too, about pulling it back when you're giving your energy to shit that doesn't deserve your energy. Because we do that a lot, and that'll hold you back. So where can your energy be best placed to make the best next step forward? So there's that. We're going to do tea leaves next because I like these a lot. Apparently they don't want to. Maybe I need a bigger chunk to shuffle them, huh? They don't want to shuffle, and I don't want to mix them up in a bag. Huh. Like, as I'm just sitting here reading these cards, it feels heavy and it feels not heavy at the same time. It feels like you are seriously in a position where it doesn't feel super heavy. It feels like you are like this close, just reaching out and taking your power back. We got the egg at the bottom of this one. It says success assured with good plans and hard work. It's a good thing. Oh boy, okay. Dealings or relationship with a woman. Could be a woman. There could be a tower moment in there somewhere. Haystack, karma, you will reap what you have sown. Karma goes in two different directions. There are those who reap what they've earned for good behavior and what they have earned for wrongdoings. Pin, new job or career. So if money is an issue, that could be, oh, here we go. That flipped right away. That could be looking up for you. Eagle, triumph over troubles and obstacles. And dragon, be aware of self-delusion. Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Don't keep running back into a brick wall here. So we've got mountain road, you are on the road to success. Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. And what do we got from this little stack here? Anything else? Yep, we've got a peacock and a younger woman. We've got ear, good news. You might be getting a message, an email, a phone call with some good news. At the other end, we've got valley, deep personal strength and peace that assure success. You're taking your power back. I feel like some of you are going to get this lesson. You are going to realize that what is being shown to you is just what is. And you're about to get the lesson. So younger woman dealing a relationship with a younger woman. There might just be someone younger than you involved. There might be children involved here. This might have to do, the situation might be with a child, or it could be a younger woman shedding light on something. Peacock, beware of great pride. Right. Beware, again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Beware of great pride. Sometimes things just don't work out. Whatever the circumstance is, whether it's a relationship or a job thing or whatever the case may be, sometimes things just don't work. Sometimes they're not supposed to work. Quotations. Sometimes, what is that saying about different people are going to come into your lives, right? And some of them are there for a reason, and some will stay for a season, and some are there for a lifetime. And the people that come in for a reason or a season is to teach you something. So if this is something that you really you went all in and you gave your all to, and it's not working out, don't beat yourself up over it. Because there's a very good chance then that if it got to this where someone's showing you their true colors and you're like, oh, this isn't working, they weren't supposed to stay forever, or the situation is not supposed to be this forever. The point of this was to teach you something. There was something you were supposed to learn. So let's see. I think we're going to go with the spellcasting oracle and see if we can. So one thing about oracle, it's a little harder to try to, if I say, what was the lesson? You know what I'm hearing in my head? I said, what was the lesson? I'm hearing, if you've all ever seen that clip of Cardi B when they did that cast reunion from whatever she was on, and she is in the chair and she's screaming, what was the reason? That was what I was hearing. So yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna ask, that's gonna be the question, is what is the lesson here, or hints towards the lesson that we're supposed to be working on here. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big Cardi fan when she first came out, and my kids drove me nuts listening to her. And then she's got a really pretty singing voice, and she's got an amazing sense of humor, and she just speaks truth, but she just like spits it whatever. And there was a song she did called Through Your Phone, and she's talking about, she says, I went through your phone last night, saw some things I didn't like, and I felt it on a personal level, and I've been a fan since, so judge me if you must. So let's see if we can get some insight as to what is the lesson that is supposed to be being learned here, or what direction can we go in to pick up on this lesson and make forward progress here. Because if we don't get the lesson, then what happens? If you don't get the lesson, then you get to do it again. Maybe not with the same person, maybe not the exact same situation, but you'll end up finding the next person that's going to give you the same lesson. It's just going to be a different variation, and you're going to end up kind of back in the same thing. Boundaries, setting boundaries. Okay. What else, please? That is a very good lesson, actually. Setting boundaries is good for you, and it's good for other people that you deal with. It's good for you because it helps you protect your energy, and it protects your... When we talked about setting goals and standards, right? When you set those boundaries and you make known, like, this is the deal. This is what I will and will not accept or allow into my energy, and it like, you've already drawn the line. You've drawn the line in the sand now, and now this person has two options. They can respect your boundaries, and they could be like, oh, okay, I can abide by that. I'm going to cross this line and come over there with you. Or they could be like, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with that, and they can walk away. The third option is they can be like, oh, okay, I'm going to lie to your face and tell you that I'm going to abide by that. I'm going to cross this line. I'm going to disrespect your boundaries, and I'm going to come and cause all sorts of discord in your life, and then you're going to have to get a lesson from this. So, and the best way to take care of that is the moment you see that they're not yes, I'm going to respect your boundaries. I'm going to cross this line. Then I'm going to disrespect your boundaries. The moment that you see it, call them on it the first time. Don't wait until the 6-7 months down the road, you know, and then try to call them on it then, because they've already, like, when you allow somebody to cross that boundary and you allow it, right? Now you've set a precedent for the whole situation, unfortunately. And it gives the message that, oh, okay, they're gonna put up with this. I did this and they didn't say nothing? Okay, now I'm gonna try this. And then they're gonna start pushing the envelope and keep trying to do things. And it's gonna be little things that get under your skin until they finally show you, they finally fully take the mask off and fully show you what you're looking at here. Because this is a relationship therapy session today, eh? But yeah, so the first time that they cross a boundary, you need to call it immediately. Don't let them continue on like that, because that expression that's give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It is so true. Is there any anything else we can get from? Okay, we'll take those. Beauty, answers, prosperity. That's peeking out there, but the main cards here, we have blessings and courage. Boundaries, blessings, and courage. I know I yammered on for a while about boundaries, but we're going to go in here. This is you're being taken for a ride again. People do like to take advantage of you, don't they? The problem is that you like to please people, so you avoid letting them down and pander to their requests. You have a kind soul and would do anything for anyone. It's a beautiful gesture, and you genuinely want everyone to be happy, but at what cost? If your own wants and needs are being ignored, then always putting others first means you're not valuing yourself. When you say yes to others, make sure that you're not saying no to yourself. Eventually, you'll feel worn down, trodden on, and resentful. It's time to be assertive and put boundaries in place. Exactly what I was saying, too. And that's so true. Like, here's another thing. When you are just a good-hearted person and not necessarily a people pleaser, but a giver, taker, there, like, some people are givers and some people are takers. And takers, it's like you've got a beacon on your forehead. Like, they can tell. I don't know how they can tell, but they can tell that you're a giver. And takers take because they can't fulfill their need themselves. They have to take it from someone else. So you are this beautiful treasure trove of all these things that they can take, right? And they come and you're like, yes, let me give to you. Let me fix you. Let me try to make you feel whole. And eventually what ends up happening is that the balance completely shifts. There is no balance to begin with. But it completely shifts to where they're full of everything you've given them, and now you've left yourself empty, and they've left you empty because they're not giving anything back. They have only taken. I hope that makes sense. So it says, you like to relieve people of burdens rather than impose. You're under no obligation. Saying no empowers you. See your demands from another point of view. Boundaries ensure respect and understanding. Absolutely. Like I said, the moment that somebody crosses a boundary that you have set, and set them out loud. Like, I'm not saying set these boundaries in your head and then proceed on into some kind of relationship or energy exchange with somebody. I'm saying, like, verbalize this to them. Like, this is what I'm not dealing with, period. Like, not maybe, not sometimes. Like, this is a deal breaker. This is a hard limit for me. I'm not doing this. And once you've put that boundary there, you've taken away consent for them to do that. Do those things. And when they come through and they break them boundaries, now they've broken your trust and your consent. And it's up to you to not let them continue to do so. Okay? And you have that right. You have that right. In witchcraft, they will tell you no is a complete sentence, and no is the most powerful spell there is, because it protects your energy and it sets your boundaries. Like, Feel how you feel about witchcraft or whatever. But even without witchcraft, no is no. Period. So, blessings. When you desire someone else to experience the world through the sacred eyes of sanctity, honor, and gratitude, then you offer them a great blessing. This is a wonderful way to work with the pure energies of the universe and to attract a cornucopia of abundance in your life. Remember that everything you send out comes back to you threefold. Side note, if you believe in that rule. So open yourself up to receive great blessings from your guides, angels, and great masters. As you say prayers for the world, dedicate candles, partake in yoga, read spiritual books, chant and burn incense, as you raise your vibration and truly light up your life and ultimately the world. Count your blessings. Give thanks for all the good in your life. The approval you seek is given. A dream comes true. A kind act brings blessings. Absolutely. Because if you're in this position where someone's being a duty head, and it's telling you to set boundaries, I think it's in everybody. There is a beauty within you. There is a beauty within you. And there are people that'll see that and not want to take advantage of it too. Okay. There are people that will see that beauty and appreciate it. It talks about, okay, we've already discussed if you believe in the threefold thing. I'm not going to gatekeep on my channel. If you believe in the whole like law of what you put out comes back threefold, you do. And if you don't, you don't. And that's your deal. That's not my deal. When it says give thanks for all the good in your life, that's about giving gratitude. So even if this situation, this particular situation, relationship, whatever that you're in is kind of shitty, think about the positive aspects of this. You are, obviously you're on a path to something good. You are still here watching the reading, which means they haven't completely broken you. So you have not completely lost yourself. That is something to be grateful for. You're learning something about yourself, and you're learning something about how to set boundaries with other people. You're learning a lesson. That's something to be grateful for. If you get this situation out of your life and you move forward and you heal from it and you find fulfillment elsewhere, that is something to be grateful for. Also, what the heck made me want to say it? A dream comes true. Check your dreams. This is what it was. A kind act brings great blessings. This could be the younger woman card. Perhaps there's a younger woman in your life that sees what's going on. Oh, the irony in this, due to my personal situation, but perhaps there's a younger woman in your life that sees what's going on, and maybe that younger woman does a kind act in your favor and becomes the catalyst for further kind acts to help you progress through this situation. That it's giving like viral. That's what's popping in my head is viral. So say excuse me, say hypothetically you have put out a plea online somewhere on a platform or something. Perhaps a younger woman sees what you posted and helps it go viral, and the blessings come in the form of all the help that you need to get out of this situation. I don't know. Don't ask me why. That was what I got. I got viral. So, take that for what it's worth. Courage. Your extreme aversion to something that's plagued you for most of your life is causing you to become irrational. An overwhelming and debilitating fear has a significant impact at even the thought of coming face to face with your antagonistic perpetrator. Avoidance and an exaggerated, unrealistic sense of danger has led to restrictions and increased your anxiety. Tracking back to the original source of a phobia will help you to understand your triggers and intense psychological reactions in order to heal. With courage and a little banishment magic, you can find complete peace of mind. Your fears relate to a past life. Your sensitivity is compromised by another's phobia. Understanding is key to healing. You are safe and protected. Okay, I got a few things I want to say about this after reading the description. First and foremost, your fears relate to a past life. Well, okay, I'm going to say 20 years is a pretty long time, so that's like a lifetime for me. Your fears and whatever is causing these blockages for where you're having to go through this cycle and try to repeat this lesson could literally be from childhood. You could have been with a really toxic individual 20 years ago and you never got the lesson, and you've gone through a chain of these, and then here you are today still going through the lesson. It could be something like that. Or it could literally be a past life if you're into reincarnation and all that. It says, your extreme aversion to something and an overwhelming and debilitating fear, well, there we go, I'm skipping again, has a significant impact at even the thought of coming face to face with your antagonistic perpetrator. I've talked about this before too. I'm not going to say, because this is like, it's causing you to become irrational, is how it says in the book. And I feel like that's really kind of harsh. But I'm not going to say that you're becoming irrational, but I'm going to say that you're giving this person or this situation or this fear that you have or anxiety that you have way too much power. And you need to take it back. And you need to understand that in many, I'm not going to say all, I don't know everybody's circumstances, and I'm not going to try to minimize anybody's circumstance, as I've said before. But what I will say is in many times, in many situations, you have power, and that thing that you're so afraid of really isn't that scared. I'm trying to think of how to... Avoidance and an exaggerated, unrealistic sense of danger. So, because you're afraid of something that's not actually that scary and doesn't, in actuality, have that much power over you, you're limiting yourself. And by limiting yourself, then you're feeling even more trapped. This is very Eight of Swords energy. You're feeling even more trapped, and it's making you feel even more anxious. So when you backtrack and start thinking, when did this particular behavior or trait start affecting you and making you feel frightened or limited or powerless? What was it in your childhood? Was it a previous relationship? What was it that made you feel this way in the first place, that this is how you're still reacting to this? This is pretty deep. I did not intend to go this deep, but here we are. So let me just check the time real quick. So I'm going to make sure. Okay. This is going to run a little long, and I do apologize, but I feel like it's important. So say, okay, we'll just get personal. When I was younger, I had a step-parent who was an alcoholic, and he was an abuser, and I was absolutely freaking terrified. I mean, like, when I say younger, like, before elementary school, into elementary school. And even through my teen years, even after he was no longer my step-parent, I was still very, like, intimidated and fearful. Like, when he would come around, I would just shrink, and it was so uncomfortable, and I hated it. And I finally, one day, I don't know what it was that made me snap, and I was like, this is a grown-ass man who is supposed to be a father figure, and he lives at the bottom of a bottle, and that's sad. That's kind of pathetic, actually. And I thought, how sad does that have to be? How sad is it that is how this person lives their life, and then he just tries to maintain his sense of authority and power by being aggressive and overbearing towards other people, like to kind of balance it out. So he drinks because of his own perceived shortcomings and miseries, and then to pull himself back up, he takes from others. He's a taker, right? And I realized this, and I called him on it, and I felt so like powerful in myself, not because I really was a bitch, not because I had been a bitch to him, but because I had stood up for myself, and because I had squashed this monster that just like existed my entire childhood. And I was like, I really felt like, how dare you? Like, who are you to try to take, I was a child. Like, what was so bad for you that you felt the need to, be that way towards a child? Because if you're like 5 years old, like, really, what do you have to stand up against an adult like that, right? So my point is in going back and seeing that, I've reflected on this. We'll fast forward to my children's father. He's an alcoholic and he's an abuser. And I did not set clear boundaries, and I continued to try to fix him, and I was not getting the damn lesson. He showed me who he was. I knew the cycle. I knew what to expect, and I kept trying to fix it, and I kept trying to fix it. And it's over 7.5 years, y'all. I kept trying to fix it. I don't know what his life is like now, but as of the last time that I heard of any communication with him and one of my children, he is still an alcoholic, and he is still, totally Peter Pan, never wants to grow up. And I'm like, God, like, why? That's sad. Like, so this fear that you have about the person or the situation or whatever, I'm not saying that your fear is not real. Your fears are your fears, but they might be unfounded. You might, and especially now if you're an adult, whatever you were afraid of, if this is from childhood, you're not 5 years old anymore. You're not 6 years old anymore. Now you're all grown up. As I tell my kids, you're all grown up. And you absolutely can stand up for yourself and take your power back. And I would encourage you to do so, because I think that you'll feel so much better. You will feel it everywhere, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. You'll feel a difference. This got really, really deep. So we're gonna wrap this up with a couple of healing messages, and then we're gonna call it, because yeah. So I'm gonna have to go like vibe check myself after this. And I don't ever want you to feel like when we get messages like this on the channel, I don't want you to feel like that if I get really hyped up while we're talking about this, I don't want you to feel like I'm sitting here yelling at you or lecturing you or coming down on you. I'm just saying, like, because I can relate to these feelings that are on the table here, I know the difference it can make in how a person feels about themselves when you stand up for yourself and you take that power back, when you cut the toxic shit off and you start setting them boundaries and doing for you. Like, I know how good that can make you feel, because I've done it too. And I think that you deserve to feel good and brave, not afraid, not limited, All right. What final messages of healing here? What final messages do we have, please? Wants to fall. This too. Meditation and nurture. We're going to stop there. This says receive healing at the bottom of the deck. Y'all, confirmation right here. Bottom of the deck is receive healing. Top of the deck is boundaries. In the middle of the deck is grateful. It talked about giving gratitude for what you do have. Meditation and nurture. Excuse me. Meditation. The dream state. Nurturing. I'm feeling so meditation doesn't have to be like you put on a track and you sit and listen to somebody tell you to walk on the beach and hear the waves and stuff for 7 minutes. Like, that is a meditative activity, but that's not the only way to go about it, right? This would be my suggestion. This is just my suggestion. You pick what works for you. Because it's showing me like past stuff where she's like laying here sleeping. And in this dream state, she's seeing all these memories. And my suggestion for you is, if you don't know how to change the channel in your dreams while you're sleeping to dream about certain things, and you're not going to go get past life regression therapy or whatever, start journaling, whether it's on paper or start a Word document or start in your notes in your phone or however, or a voice recording. There's voice recording apps that you can do voice journaling with, and take yourself back to the time when this started and work your way forward and talk about your feelings, talk about what happened, talk about what you felt, talk about, you know, what was done or said, things like that. And as you go through it, understand your reactions to things, like where you started, because our reactions, like when something happens now and you react a certain way, that's a learned behavior because it happened before and you reacted a certain way and you found that you were able to cope in that manner, and that's the coping mechanism you carried on from that first, you know, the first time that happened. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you can go look it up. I'm not going to get into it here because I'm not certified in that. But what I'm saying is, if you go back to that and you come back to the present and now you're like, okay, so this is happening and this is similar to that because, and this is, I'm reacting to this the same way as that because, and then nurture yourself. Really setting boundaries is nurturing yourself. Showing gratitude for what you do have or how far you have come is nurturing yourself. And this realization and the lesson that you're going to take from it and the way you're going to be able to move forward is nurturing yourself. Like, this is a brilliant opportunity for you to do some major healing and make some major forward progress. And I would strongly encourage you to take it. Boundaries is emphasized here. So this might be your lesson, is that you are not setting boundaries and you are allowing people to be takers and takers and takers, and you don't have much left to give because nobody is giving you anything. They're just taking. There's no balance there. So you need to set the boundaries. But yeah, that's it's pretty deep. I didn't know we were going to go in this direction, but here we are. So hopefully this helps somebody. Hopefully whoever needed this message hears it. If you liked it, if it resonates with you, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, so you can get a notification every time I post. I post daily on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. My socials are in the description box. Drop a comment, talk with each other. You know, I guess that's it. But that's what I got. Y'all stay blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye.